Do you feel like life is like doing a crossword puzzle but without any of the instructions? And the people around you are doing word searches, so they give you unhelpful advice. Are you overwhelmed by motherhood and barely keeping your head above water? Are you confused and frustrated by how all the other moms make it look so easy? You can't figure out how to manage the chaos in your mind, your home, or your family. I get you, mama. Parenting with ADHD is hard. Here is your permission slip to let go of the Pinterest-worthy visions of organization and structure fit for everyone else. Let's do life like our brains do life, creatively, lovingly, and with all our might. When we embrace who we are and how our brains work, we can figure out how to live our lives successfully and, in turn, lead our families well. At the end of the day, we just want to be good moms. But, spoiler alert, you are already a great mom. ADHD does not mean you're doomed to be a hot mess, mama. You can rewrite your story from shame spiral to success story. And I'll be right here beside you to cheer you on. Welcome to Motherhood in ADHD. Hey there, successful mama. It's your friend Patricia Sung. Do you feel like life is like doing a crossword puzzle but without any of the instructions? And the people around you are doing word searches, so they give you unhelpful advice like, you find the word, and then you cross off the word when you're done. Or, well, you just look for the right letters, and then you find it. That's it. Let's be real here. Crossword puzzles are way more difficult than word searches, especially when you don't get any instructions. You look at everyone around you like, well, they all seem to be filling out their puzzles just fine. Why can't I? But when you have the instructions, and it's explained in a language that makes sense to you so that you can understand it, you can actually do it. Now, it's still harder than a word search, but success is an option when you understand your brain and understand the instructions people give you. Whenever I teach on how to live well with ADHD, I always start with these 3 pillars, which is 1, learn about your brain, 2, put on your oxygen mask first, and 3, ask for help. Now, my new program, Time Management Mastery for ADHD moms, is ready to go. It's starting today. You can sign up right now as soon as you're listening to this. And it incorporates all 3 of these things. Time Management Mastery for ADHD moms is an 11-week program where you will create a flexible framework for your day so that you can go from whack-a-mole problem solving to knowing exactly what you want to get done today and how you are going to do it. Now, there are some of you listening. They're going to go, I don't even need the details. Just sign me up and fix my life. Got you covered. Go head over to bit.ly/ADHD framework. That's bit.ly/ADHD FRAMEWORK, all lowercase letters. And you can sign up right now. Let's get started. You can hop in there right now, get through the introduction and the first set of videos, and be on your way. But if you're a little more like me and you need to know all the details, I'm going to explain through what we're doing, what's going on. So when I talk to moms, they're kind of like, I don't know, is this for me? Usually their questions are rooted in 3 areas. 1, I don't know if I can be successful at this because I screw up a lot of stuff. Duly noted, I will help you. Number 2, I don't really have time for this. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. Duly noted, I have thought about that. And number 3, should I really be spending this money on me? I got kids to keep alive and pay for lacrosse uniforms. And duly noted, I will talk about that too. So let's make this happen, mama. Number 1, if you are worried about not being successful here, I'm going to tell you that is a bunch of baloney because there could be some kids in the car trying to keep it peachy. You know what? You can do hard things. If you have ADHD, you do hard things every day. And when you want something, you make it happen. We are motivated by what's important to us. We can channel that and make it our focus. This is the very first thing we talk about in the first set of videos, which are all super short, by the way, because you're a mom, you got kids, somebody's interrupting you. That's why I made them short. So like 5 minutes, that's it. You don't have to I lost my place. Somebody interrupted me. Now I got to rewind through 30 minutes of stuff. No, this is set up to be fit for your brain and your life. So in that first section, we talk about motivation. How do we channel that in to stay on track, to keep us from petering out at some point? You got your short videos. You have the ability to read it. The videos all have captions. They have the transcripts that you can read. I really want this to be as accessible as possible. You need video? I got video. You need audio? I got audio. You need to read it? I got reading. I don't dance. Otherwise, you got all of the different modalities here covered because I want this to be something that you can do. It is ADHD focused. I have the timeline to be set up for mom life. There are scheduled breaks in between. Why? Because somebody got the stomach flu. There's a snow day. I got to go help my Nana with cleaning out her garage. Like whatever life throws at you, I built in breaks so that way, if you're not having any crazy emergencies, great. Your brain needs some time and space, right? And if emergency does come up, you have time to catch up on whatever you wanted to get done before you move forward so that you won't feel behind. But here's the thing, even if you feel behind, it doesn't matter. If you end up taking this 11-week program and doing it over 16 weeks, that's totally fine. You can do that because the support meetings we meet every week, they happen forever. Anytime you need, you hop back in. 6 months from now, you're like, okay, I had a crisis, I'm coming back, no problem. You jump back in and keep on going. I send you text reminders of when the meeting happens if you want them. Like if you are, say you're in Australia, I'm not going to text you at 2 a.m., okay? So if you're coming to the meetings, you can sign up for text reminders and voila, I'll remind you a few minutes before the meeting, please show up. You don't want text reminders anymore? You tell me you don't want text reminders anymore. I'm all about making this as easy as possible. I speak your language because I am you. Like I created this to fit my life. I know what it's like to be juggling kids and work and an ADHD brain and a relationship. All the things that are pulling on us, health issues, like, y'all, I got a lot of problems, okay? So understand what it's like. And you're going to hear next week from some of the students who are in the first round, and you'll hear how this fits their brains, how I speak your language because I cannot stand when people explain to me things in weird, vague instructions like, just write it in your planner. What does that mean? Just time block. Well, what do I do in the time block? Like, no, please don't tell me those goofy things. I need specifics. Question number 2. A lot of moms are like, Patricia, I don't think I have time for this. Like, I already got a lot on my plate. How am I going to do one more thing? One of the things I always ask my students is, if a mom is on the fence, what do you tell her? What would you say to her? And every time they say something to the effect of, just do it. You will figure it out because you are resourceful and you are persistent, you will figure it out. But here's why. What you're doing in this class is you are setting up things on the upfront end. You are being proactive. You are thinking about how does my ADHD affect me and what can I set up to mitigate that problem? I know my ADHD is going to throw me off. It does every day. What can I do to plan ahead for that? That is an entire section of the class, is making sure that we prepare for mom life, that we prepare for our ADHD. Because when we are prepared, we have less stress. We are more present with our kids. And that means that we can sit down when our kids get home from school and have a little snack or some hot chocolate with them and truly listen to the things that are coming out of their mouths instead of running through our brain of like, oh, I didn't think about dinner. I don't have ingredients. What can I pull together? Why haven't you started your homework? And you start snipping at everybody, yelling at everybody because you're stressed. I want you to have time for family dinner. I want you to have time to sit down on the floor and play with your toddler. I want you to have time to go watch practice with your kid, even though you're like, I don't want to watch the 37th soccer practice of this season, okay? I want you to have the space to choose the way that you're going to spend your time for that day because you have a plan for all that routine stuff of motherhood that does not end. When we create these frameworks, we are protecting the important things. We are protecting the good stuff. We are protecting our presence. We are protecting our stress level. We are protecting the good stuff by creating a frame that supports the important things. But also on a practical level, know that the first half of the class, each week you're doing about an hour of video segments and activities and thinking and figuring out stuff. And on the second half, there's a couple of weeks that have at most 2 hours. So we're not like trying to do a dissertation here, okay? These are quick, short videos. We're talking 5, maybe 10 minutes that you can do while you're folding laundry or on a walk, you can listen to the stuff and then find the time in your day and those cracks and crevices to do the activities. So you can sit and work on this stuff when you're waiting in the carpool line, or you are sitting at that 37th soccer practice and your kid's just doing some stretching. I need to pay attention to that, So you can find places in your day to make homes for these activities and the listening that will fit with you, that will fit with your life, that will make sense for you. And the third area that most moms are worried about, when they see that they are spending money on themselves, what do? We feel guilty. We think, oh, I really should be paying for my kid to do piano lessons or buy supplies for this activity, or they need to go to therapy. And we think of all the things that everybody else needs. But if you take nothing else out of this episode, is that I want you to understand that you are part of the family and that you are important and that you matter. And when you spend money on yourself, you are spending money on the family. When you are healthy and when you are not stressed, that is when the family is okay. When you're running around at bedtime, Medusa mom, screaming at everybody, what money would you pay in that moment to not be yelling at your kids? I would easily hand somebody $50 and be like, would you please take away that hurt that I just did? There is not a price that we can put on the strain that our unhealthy and unmanaged ADHD puts onto our family and our kids, on our partners, on our relationships. When you invest in you, you matter. You are part of the family. But more important to your mom guilt is that you see that taking care of yourself and managing your ADHD is the best gift you could give your family. How much would your partner appreciate you being present for the conversation? How much would your kids love that you are hearing the words coming out of their mouths and truly listening? I am guilty of this myself. Please don't take this as a holier than thou moment. I'm getting upset and I'm crying right now because these are all moments that I've been through so many times. And are they all gone? No, but they are so much less frequent than they were a year ago, 3 years ago, 6 years ago. Because the ADHD tax is real. Whether that means buying planners we don't use, or paying extra fees because we forgot to cancel that membership, buying dinner out again because we forgot to make a plan, we don't have ingredients, not to mention the cost of divorce and therapy. What is it costing you to not do something about your ADHD? What is it costing you to not learn about your brain? What is it costing your job performance? What is it costing your health? What is it costing in your relationships to be frustrated and stressed out? What is it costing you to continue living an overwhelmed and chaotic life where you're not happy? If this is sitting heavy on your heart, Mama, I want to help you. I want to help you dig out of the hole and make progress forward. I'm not promising to solve all your problems. I'm not a therapist, not a marriage counselor. But I do know that when we take care of ourselves and we are proactive in how we approach our day and our lives, a healthier mama makes a healthier family. Time Management Mastery for ADHD Moms opens today. It's here for you. It is here for helping you, to help you learn about who you are and how your brain works so that you can be present with your family. It is possible to exit the house without yelling at everyone and to actually show up on time. It is possible to go to a play date and not spend the whole time beating yourself up for all the chores at home that you know you need to get done. No, you shouldn't be having fun with your friends because you have things to do. It's possible to learn how to turn down that negative narrator because you trust the decisions that you make. It's possible to live a life where you're not constantly thinking of all the excuses you're going to give this time because you're late again. You're like, well, I already used all these options. What new excuse can I come up with today? We don't have to live like that. In 11 weeks, you can build a structure, a routine for your day that both fits your ADHD brain, no matter how much you don't like structure, because you're building it for you. We create a flexible system so that you can roll with it on the days that turn to doo-doo in a basket. You know what has to get done and what can I put to the side. It doesn't matter how old your kids are because you can fit this system to little ones, to elementary school, to teenagers. And when you have these skills, you can then use them as your kids grow and schedules change and you go from dropping naps to driving lessons. You can modify the structure that you have set up for your day because you have the skills to do it. You know how to make the day fit you. You will have a plan to keep up with all the stuff that piles up, and there's no more amount laundry, and there's no more piles of dishes on the counter that are stinking and growing mold that just make you feel like crap every time you look at them, because you have a system to put these little things in place little by little. We figure out how to overcome the mountain one step at a time. You'll know how to make it interesting for your brain and how you can shift things and make it still work for you so you don't get bored and fall off 2 weeks in, because you have a community of like-minded mamas cheering you on and saying, hey, I get that. It stinks. Or if you want advice, you can ask the group. And there are 5 moms who chime in with like, well, this worked for me or that worked for me. And you have a pool of ideas that are like actually going to work for you. And it's not nonsense. Like just write it on your planner. Ugh. Not only do we have the weekly meetings, we have a bulletin board where you can post in the community and ask questions and get feedback. If you can't make a meeting, there's a replay. And again, there's a transcription if you prefer reading, or you can watch the video. There's always help available. And to go to a meeting and feel at home where you can say, I lost my ever-loving you-know-what on my partner yesterday because they kept standing in front of the sink while I was trying to make pasta and I kept telling them to get out of the way, but they wouldn't. And then they told me I was being too rude in my response. What do I do? And you get a whole bunch of faces nodding at you like, get out of my way. That is a beautiful thing that I wish I had better words to explain to you how beautiful it is to be in a community that understands you. But also that's not on Facebook, because then you don't get distracted and look at other things. Like all the class materials and the community are on a separate platform, so you don't have to worry about getting sucked into social media. So what are we actually talking about? We start out in the first module where we go through understanding, like, how do you tap into your motivation when it's boring stuff that you don't want to do? We talk about our values and understanding how we set up our day to match what matters to you. And if you're like, Patricia, I don't even know what matters to me. I don't know what my values are. I got an activity for that too. And we'll sift through and figure out what matters to you. I think you actually know in your heart, but you just don't trust yourself. We're going to work on that too, okay? In the second week, we talk about the framework. Like, what does that outline look like for our day? How do we understand the foundation? Because I want you to be able to get back on track when you feel like you're behind all day. It's possible. And if you have a family schedule that's unusual, if you're like, well, we don't go do the traditional 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, or we have shift work, we have a new baby, like we go through like, how do you make this fit your life? In the third week, we talk about obstacles because we got mom hurdles, we got ADHD hurdles. How do we stick to something when we usually just peter out after a couple weeks? Or you're panicking of like, I have so much to do. We'll work through that. We have time for rest. And then we get into module 4, where we set up the framework that matches what your life needs. How do you keep from losing the entire day? How can you use the natural breaks in your day to work for you? How do we deal with transitions and task initiation? Because let me be real clear here. We're not deciding to create a whole new day for you. You're not going to be a new person tomorrow. So let's not plan a routine for a different person, okay? We're working from where you are. We're setting up with where you are. And yes, we can get to that point where we're adding in goals and doing all the great things that you are capable of doing, but we're going to get there in a logical time frame. Like, let's be real here. If you're getting woken up at 9:30 by your toddler, we're not going to make a schedule for tomorrow that's 5 a.m. yoga, okay? Let's keep it real here. Then we're going to take another break. We're going to catch up or rest, whatever you need. And then in weeks 8 and 9, we go through the 5th module, which is starting with those simple routines. So how do you set up your day like a boss? How do we make it flexible? How do we set up morning and evening routines that make sense for you, that serve you, that are actually going to be able to get done, that you'd actually want to do? And in the last 2 weeks, we go through the 6th module where we figure out like, how long does it actually take to do stuff? We'll answer the question of like, can time blocking be done by ADHD? What do I do with all the tasks that I hate? We also look at our weekly goals and our monthly goals because we're looking at not only how we run today, but how do we do those bigger things that usually just don't get done because they're out of sight, out of mind, right? But right now, this is not out of sight, out of mind. This is in your face. This time right here, you have to make a difference in how you live, how you enjoy your life as a mom. How do you feel successful with ADHD? Go sign up. It's bit.ly/ADHD framework. Since today is the first day that the class is open, I have some special bonuses for you. If you sign up today, you will get 2 personal videos from me as a bonus for signing up first day when you are going to send me your schedule and I will go through it for you and say like, hey, this looks great. Did you think about this? Do you really think that you can leave school and get to gymnastics in like 5 minutes? Like, are they across the street or did we not think about travel time? Like giving you that feedback of like, what do you need to think about in order to make this work for you? So I'm going to give you 2 of those as a bonus for signing up today and then they're gone. So sign up before midnight tonight, Central Time, for those 2 videos. And if you are a thinker like me and you need time to ponder it, don't worry, I understand that's how I am. Think about it. You have until Thursday, February 24th to sign up for this round. It will open again in the spring. If you're like, I need to save up for this or I need to think about it some more, it's okay. It will open up again in the spring. And if you're ready to go now, let's make some stuff happen, mama. It's bit.ly/ADHD framework. It's time to live a good life, mama. And I'm here cheering for you, rooting you on every single day. I'll talk to you soon, successful mama. For more resources, classes, and community, head over to my website, motherhoodinadhd.com.